Hey.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PGCA webinar series, and we are now on our fourth installment of this free webinar series. And today we will talk about living through a time of crisis, challenges, and resources. And our speaker for this morning is Dr. Julian, one of our board of directors of the Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association. But before we start, may we have some few reminders. Uh, First, this is the fourth installment already of our free webinar series. To avail our uh, webinar series, first you have to register, and our registration link can be found in the PGCA official Facebook page. After answering the link and registering yourself, you have to attend the webinar. Answer the post question, and after that you have to wait for the email of your e-certificate. So for this morning, I'm Francis Ray Subong, one of the board of directors also of the Philippine Guidance and Counseling Association. I will be your host for this morning. So to start with, may we call on Reverend Father RC Lumiked for a prayer.
Okay. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of thought processes. Today, I praise you for human minds to understand the magnitude of your power. It is beyond my comprehension, yet every detail of the world is under your care. Lord, sometimes my mind grows cloudy with the cares of this world. The fog sets in and I can think clearly. I need you, the light of the world, because my eyes grow so dim in the dark. Would you help me stay focused on your light? Would you provide clarity and make it bright? For when I get a tiny glimpse of a life led by your shine, I realize each beaming ray, I want that life to be mine. In Jesus' name, amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father RC, for leading us into prayer. So again, welcome to the fourth installment of our PGCA webinar series. And this morning, we will be having Doc Julian Montano for the topic Living Through a Time of Crisis, Challenges, and Resources. May we request Doc Julian to please show the screen, Father RC.
Father, you have to exit your
Share screen.
stop share on top of the.
Ayan.
There you are. Thank you.
Okay, so while Doc Julian is
Okay, we're good.
setting up screen. Yes, thank you, Doc Julian. But for our viewers, our participants, if you have questions later, please don't forget to type in our comment box for your questions, which we will try to cater later. So at this time, again, let us welcome Doc Julian Montano, one of our board of directors for today's webinar. Doc Julian.
Thank you, Sir Francis. Thank you very much. And thank you also, Father RC, for the prayer. I think it is really timely what you have just prayed for, what we have just prayed for, because precisely what we are going through is beyond our imagination and our capacity. And as we help others, we really need the support and the guidance and really the work of our Lord in giving support to everyone. So thank you again for that prayer. Very encouraging prayer. So, and now good morning to all, to everyone. I'm so happy to be able to share with you this topic of living through a time of crisis, right? And I would talk about the challenges that we have, and then but also the resources that we have in going through this crisis. This also though important times of our lives. So just to share something about myself. So again, my name is Julian, and the main things that I do in my work time, my lifetime, is also I do counseling and psychotherapy. I do also clinical supervision, being also the clinical supervisor of InTouch Community Services, and also the internship, the coordinator of the supervised internship of De La Salle University, Dasmariñas PhD counseling program. And then I also do psychological assessment, most especially for adults and adolescents. And then I teach counseling in De La Salle University, Dasmariñas, in the PhD program, the graduate school. And then I do also expert witnessing. Then my specializations in terms of counseling and psychotherapy is marital and relational issues. I do some work in trauma, depression, anxiety, multicultural issues, career. I work on mental toughness with athletes, competitive athletes, and performing artists. And then I do also conflict management. My educational background would be I finished my PhD in counseling psychology at De La Salle University, Manila. And then my double master's in counseling, organizational, and social psychology at Columbia University. So now, this is what we will do today. This would be my outline. I would want to present to you, first of all, the common emotional challenges that we are going through. So obviously, this is a kind of a generalization and does not represent the whole picture, but maybe more of putting together the most common things. And then I would like also to go a bit more in an understanding of the psychological experiences of these common challenges. A bit more in not only the interpersonal experience of these common challenges, but also the intrapsychic understanding analysis of these common challenges, so as to be able then to manage it also better. So I will talk about also managing it, how we can achieve well-being, emotional well-being, also going beyond these difficulties, these challenges. All right, so those are the 3 points that I would want to present. Okay, so to present the emotional challenges, I thought of presenting to you a timeline, to see a bit, to kind of give us also a time background of what has been happening to us. So to start with, I want to start before 2015. I'm saying this, I think it's important to do this because that one will give you also a background of what we are experiencing now when we are now facing this COVID-19 crisis. So before 2015, we in our statistics, when I say statistics, our statistics, that would be the statistics of InTouch Community Services of of all the counseling hours and clients that we've seen and of in the past years. And we've been collecting data. And obviously, this is just a very small part of the whole picture, right? I mean, uh, we're not a big center, but we have an average of about 700 counseling hours a month, in all these past years like that. And so we collected data on that. So, but however, it's also true that what our statistics have shown us have also been seen and confirmed by local and international literature. So maybe it's reflective of that also. So in before 2015, what we really saw was that the presenting problems that were brought to us by our clients were more depression than anxiety. A lot more came in saying, I'm depressed, I want to work on this, please help me, and all these things, right? Now, when we reached about 2015, circa 2015, we started seeing that the presenting problems kind of changed. Anxiety started to be more reported than depression. And so we were seeing that already. And maybe you could also find what we were seeing in the literature was that was mostly caused also because of precisely the internet, right? The social media, right? Bullying was already even done in the internet. It didn't have to be face to face. It could also be in virtual, space. And so anxiety really um, came more represented or brought in as a presenting problem than depression. And then in 2018, if you remember, 2018, we had some completed suicides of celebrities. Already before in 2015 with depression and also continuing, we've also seen already some suicide cases. We were receiving suicide cases. When I say receiving, I'm talking about our crisis line, our hotline. This is a 24/7 hotline, free and anonymous, that has been running for almost about 40 years with In Touch. And so it's free, they call up, and we've been receiving already suicide cases in our crisis line. And then from there, we go towards our counseling services, right? So in 2018, we've seen these celebrities who committed suicide. And I think this one here led to an increase of suicide cases. And so we've also in us it reflected. And I think you also know, being in the field, in the schools and everything, I think you really also saw this, that we've had many suicide cases. Maybe not all completed, some few completed though, but there were a lot of ideation, a lot of different severities of suicide tendencies, right? And so we were seeing that. We were seeing that thing going up. So now in late January 2020, this is a pre-COVID-19, there, right, we started receiving or hearing about the virus COVID-19, right? It started coming in. But it wasn't really yet at the mainstream of news media. And so entering 2020, we could say that in our statistics, what reflected was anxiety, depression, suicide, and trauma, right? Trauma, a lot coming from domestic violence, and then other issues, right? We also count terms of betrayals, a lot of also other psychological challenges. Now, so this is pre-COVID. Now we enter into the COVID time. February 2020, remember, we started, right, hearing about COVID in TV, in news media. What is this? You know, we were thinking of, oh wow, is this something that is greater than SARS? We had lots of questions. You know, are we going to be infected, or it was something that we didn't know. And remember, right? Remember also, even the governments didn't know how to react. How do we deal with this? Should we have? And they were already, they were barely talking about, lockdowns at that time, but already we had lots of unknown. And there we kind of saw that we had anxiety, right? Anxiety started, people started calling in with issues of anxiety. And we didn't know this then, no, but we then later discovered that this anxiety was due to uncertainty, to this unknown, to this big unknown, right? We still didn't know that clearly then, but it was like that. You know, it was coming in. Anxiety was always became even really higher. Depression, in fact, went down significantly down, but anxiety was very high. You know, a lot, very in frequency. Then in March 2020, when the lockdown started, remember, I think that was Duterte announced it, I think, in the start of the second week, I think, or middle, or before the second week of March. And we had a lockdown. I remember in the office, we had to decide whether, you know, when to close and everything, whether we had to work at home, you know, and all these things. And so there we started lockdown. We found ourselves at home, working from home. Our office became our kitchen. We were writing our emails with our kids moving around, running around. You know, we were making our lesson plans with the people, you know, they're moving around, and in between our work, we would have to deal with these things here, right? So a lot of adjustment times, a lot of adjustments, and a lot of also continuously a lot of questions. And so I think continue more and more, it was always anxiety due to uncertainty, right? There we started hearing also, realizing that, oh, it's really, it's coming from uncertainty, you know, after a month or so. And we were also seeing this in the literature. People were already talking about this also outside international literature also. And then in April 2020, we received the news, right? Remember, I think mid-April, we will extend the enhanced community quarantine and extension. And so a lot, again, new other questions. Will this ever stop? When will this stop? You know, and all these things, right? So there's a shift already of questions, right? There's already a shift of questions here. Before there were questions of what will happen. In the lockdown, there were already questions of, okay, how is this, what would be the effect on me? I'm experiencing this already. It's not something far, I'm already affected. Now, with the extension and everything, this is already affecting my future, my jobs, my life goals, right? A lot of millennials they were maybe studying, maybe finishing their masters, and they were saying, will I ever finish that? or maybe they were in an intimate relationship and this was cut, right? I mean, you couldn't see your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and different. Our kids didn't have school, so they were bored. The structure that the school was giving them disappeared. No, they didn't have that support. No, the creativity, the variety that they got from school disappeared, and now they're home. And now we're dealing with them in terms of their gadget consumption. Their screen time. They're there. It's too much, and so we have to also work on that, handle that, right? And so a lot of things. It was already us. We were already experiencing this personally, and also threatening really also our future. So there again, more and more, it was anxiety due to uncertainty, right? And then on May 2020, right, it continued. We were then, it was mentioned, okay, GCQ, is there a lighting of this thing here? Be easier, maybe like that. However, we also know that yes, we have to do this because of the economy, especially a lot of people who need work and everything. However, we're not yet safe, right? People are not safe there to go out. So again, thinking that, okay, there's a lighter, we're moving towards moving out, lighter control. But again, no, we have to be careful. We have to continue being careful. However, if you notice, this, we are already February, March, April, May. So 1, 2, 3, almost 3 months now. No, that I know, but in terms of lockdown, we were already on the second month, a bit more than the second month already, right? And so you can just imagine how much already we've been inside, and the uncertainty going up. There, we realized that there was anxiety due to uncertainty, and now we started hearing depression cases, people being depressed, being, and again later we will explain how come, why I think this happened, why depression now enters, and again the numbers are closing up to anxiety, right? And then we go, and what we see here is that we are now towards June. We just passed yesterday, June 1, right? Yesterday was the first day of general community quarantine for all, for Metro Manila also. We're moving, talking about the new normal and everything like that. And again, right? Yes, we are moving toward a new normal, but that again, that is a new uncertainty for us, right? And so, and there we saw, after depression, we saw, now we've been seeing this also already a bit in the mid May, suicide, and then boredom. So technically, what we've seen is that the most common emotional challenges would be anxiety due to uncertainty, depression, suicide, and boredom. Again, as I said, this is just a result of a small amount of data. However, it has been reflected. It is reflected in other literature, and also, and obviously, we know that there are other concerns that we will be facing. We know that this situation, the stress that is brought about by this situation, exacerbates also already the existing psychological issues that people are experiencing, like for example, alcoholism, violence, right, aggressiveness. There has been an increase of the domestic violence. There has been also problems in control of alcoholism. It's good that we had the liquor ban, right? Already, even a bit, I think, before the lockdown or something, or even right after the lockdown. If not in terms of maybe we will be seeing more problems in terms of alcoholism. However, we also know that the drug problem has continued, right? And I don't know if it's higher or lower, but it has continued, and despite of this lockdown and everything. So again, there are others that may not be reported here, but we will just focus on these four issues. So now I would want to go into the psychological experience. And as I said, the psychological experience that I'm talking about would be more of, I want to see, understand the dynamics of anxiety due to uncertainty, of depression, of suicide, of boredom. And I want to see their dynamics, and not only their interpersonal dynamics, but also their intrapsychic dynamics. What's happening in us? What are we feeling? What are we experiencing? So let's start with anxiety. So anxiety, as we all know, this is right. Our brain is made up, has been made to predict the future, right? And the more we're able to predict the future, the more we feel better. We feel in control, right? And however, little by sometimes when the data that's coming in is not clear, or there's a bit of confusion in the thoughts and everything, and we start not being able to really see the the future, and we see a bit the future a bit confused, unclear, we start to feel uncertain, right? And then if you add to this uncertainty a possibility of something bad happening, something that could endanger us, something that we cannot control, then we experience then anxiety, right? We feel anxious. So with this one here, anxiety is more or less a brain game, right? It's a mind game. So what happens is that first we kind of we're just seated in the sofa, maybe watching TV, or sometimes maybe working on our laptop, or right, and then all of a sudden we feel sad, we feel scared, we feel something, we feel edgy, di ba? And then when we start feeling that, we start also thinking. We start technically defining our emotion. And we say, nako, malabo to. Nako, what will happen? Oh, will I be able to do this? Oh, sabi nga nung kaibigan ko, babaksak na ako dito, hindi ko kaya to. Di ba? The more we think about it, the more the emotion becomes bigger. Right? The more it becomes bigger. And the more we think about it, the more bigger the emotion. And the more we think about it again, the more bigger the emotion. Right? So what happens is that as we think about the emotion, we get more scared. Right? So what should we do? Right? What should we do? We can't really control the emotions in the sense that it is a reaction, or a reaction to the surroundings, to our environment, also affected by our personality traits, right? It's there. We just see it's there, or just we just feel that it's there. However, we can control the thinking. So to be able to manage anxiety, if we're able to block the thinking, stop the thinking, little by little, the emotion becomes smaller and smaller. The more we don't define it, the more we don't give it meaning, the more we practically don't nourish it, the little by little, it will subside. It will lessen. It will lessen. Now I know that the thing is that yes, it's easy said than done, di ba? I know ang problema natin is paano namin matitigil yung pag-iisip namin when it is like that, right? When it is when we're scared, right? That one we will handle later in terms of management. But that is technically the general uh, approach that we would want. Once we are able to cut those negative thoughts, or even maybe better, even replace that, but at the start, just to even cut that, then we're able to start managing our anxiety and we become better, right? We reach emotional well-being, right? Okay. So that would be anxiety. Now, anxiety due to uncertainty. Since I found this thing here, and we've been, and literature has been saying that this is anxiety that is related to uncertainty. I looked around. I tried to read and see if there would be something that could explain this to us, what's happening. And I found this model. This is uncertainty and anticipation model of anxiety by Gruppe and Nitschke in 2013. This one here, they are neuropsychologists, and the researchers, and they came up with this explanation of the dynamics of uncertainty in relation to anxiety. So they say that there are 5 elements. So I want to present first the 5 elements, and then we can talk about how they interact. So first, this heightened threat that we experience, of the heightened experience of threat that we are experiencing because of this uncertainty. First, we kind of they've seen that there is an exaggerated estimate of threat. Simply said, we see the worst, di ba? We already it's more automatic than for us to see, oh no, this is not going to work, oh this is going to go bad, right? So nagiging pessimistic tayo. Our expectations become pessimistic. Another thing also is that there is a hypervigilance of threat. We are more sensitive to stimulus against us. And not only that, nakikita natin lahat na stimuli ay threat, no? So yun ang nangyayari, no? Naging hypersensitive tayo sa threat, na maski na hindi naman yung stimulus na yan ay hindi naman threatening, it becomes a threat. Then we also have a deficiency of appreciating safety, meaning yung mga resources na meron tayo, yung mga environments that are safe, that we've experienced are safe, we also cannot now see them as safe environments or safety nets or resources. We have a deficiency in appreciating those resources and those safety environments. Then, the fourth is we also have an avoidant behavior and cognition. This is more of a defense mechanism. Kasi overwhelmed tayo, at a certain point, we say, no, that doesn't exist. No, it's not exist. Thinking that if we're able to say that or able to believe that, mawawala yung takot. Which obviously, alam natin, is a defense mechanism and doesn't really work. Yes, it lowers the anxiety, yun nga ang purpose ng defense mechanism, to kind of manage the anxiety, to escape the anxiety, but the problem stays, right? And we feel then after the fear even greater when we realize, when we experience that this defense mechanism isn't working. Then lastly, because of this uncertainty, we have an heightened reactivity to threat. Ibig sabihin nun is more of we react more mas malakas yung reaction natin because there is an uncertainty. They've made an experiment here. Di ba yung, I remember that a person who was given shocks, mga shock, electric shocks, no? And one person was given electric shocks that would be low, medium, high. At hindi niya alam kung marireceive niya yun high o yun low o yun ano, di ba? The other person was always given a shock, electric shock that was always high. Kaya alam niya high palagi, alam niya yun ano. The one who didn't know the intensity of the shock suffered more, no, was more agitated, was more nervous, was more reacting than the person who knew that, well, yun naman ang marireceive ko, ganun lang. Natitis niya. So the higher the uncertainty, the higher our reactivity, our physiological reactivity. So these are the 5 processes. And what he is saying is that the interaction of these 5 key processes, psychological processes, allows us in terms of defines our experience of anxiety due to uncertainty. So it's like this, right? So increase of, there's at the middle, it's our experience of anxiety under due to uncertainty. This increased threat expectation. Di ba? Kasi hindi natin alam kung ano mangyayari, and so we're so scared, right? We're so scared. We're waiting for that. And yung una would be the exaggerated threat na worse ang ine-expect natin. No, it increases that. Then andoon yung hypervigilance, di ba? Yung hypervigilance of threat, nakikita natin lahat na stimulus, nako, stimuli, nako, yan. That's a threat. Then nakikita natin na we have weak appreciation of the safety of our resources, right? Ngayon, yan increases all yung ating experience of anxiety due to uncertainty. Now, the increase of threat expectation combined with the lower appreciation of safety brings about the avoidant behavior. Naalala niyo yung avoidant behavior in the sense it's a defense mechanism. No, ayaw na natin kasi nakikita natin, no, na we're feeling the stress, the anxiety, and then we're saying, I don't have any help. I cannot see my safety places. My resources and everything. So I avoid it. I try to avoid it. That's my only escape. Then, balik rin yun. No? They fuel one another, right? Now, the other thing is that the increased, again, threat expectation and again, the deficiency, brings about the heightened reactivity to uncertainty, right? Nagiging yung behavior natin becomes more reactive. We're more irritated. We're more angry. We're more agitated. No, we're more nervous. No. Tapos that one then leads to again avoidant. No, kasi yun na yung escape mo. Wala na yung ano. And goes around. Yan ang ano niyan. The interaction of all these 5 increases that anxiety due to uncertainty. Now, we can see how we are experiencing, but I think one important thing that also this model shows is how can we fight this anxiety? Because if we focus on the center, right, of the anxiety, it's a big experience. We're overwhelmed by that experience. But if we focused on the elements that make it up, no, yun worse, the way the exaggerated way I see things, the hypervigilance, the deficiency. If I know that, the avoidance, diba, if I know that those are the parts that make this up, yung anxiety, and I work on the small things instead of working on the central problem, I am more, I have more of a chance to manage that. Because then, sige, I will say, all right, no, I'll try to believe that this person here is a safe person. Even if I know that I feel that, naku, malabo yata, baka hindi. Pero I know that I'm also, this is a reaction of anxiety, then I can fight that, right? I fight that. Or in hypervigilance, no, this stimulus is dangerous, no? Maybe I've proven that this one here is not dangerous. So I will, so we can fight, instead of the big enemy, we can fight the smaller enemies, right? And have a bigger chance of managing it. All right. So let's leave anxiety for now. We go into depression. You see, depression, right? Depression came about, if you remember, after about 2 months of lockdown. It's always been there, obviously, right? However, in terms of statistics, it kind of became more significantly present, no, in terms of frequency. And we know that depression happens because of prolonged stress. And in this case here, anxiety is the stress, right? It's parang a rubber band that has been stretched for a while already to its limit, and then, di ba, bibigay yan ng bibigay. No? And in a sense, depression enters the scene because the body is not anymore, hindi na niya nakakaya, no? And so it goes into and we know also that the main experience of depression is hopelessness and helplessness, di ba? The person feels that the situation is hopeless and that he is or she is helpless. However, the main thing, I think, the main root of depression, of a person feeling depressed, is not so much of seeing the situation as hopeless or helpless. It is the fact that he or she experiences these two things internally, intrapsychic, di ba? He feels that he is helpless, he is hopeless. Yun yung being niya. Yun yung experience niya. Yun ang, he believes na yun na yun eh. Ako na yun eh, no? Kaya wala na pag-asa. Di ba? Even the environment may be helpless and everything, but you know, the environment can change and everything like that. No, it's not that. It's me. Kaya maski na mag-change yung environment, wala rin yan. Ako yun hopeless, ako yun helpless. So that's the main issue, di ba, nakalaban natin in depression. And if you look at it, depression, di ba, depression has, we've been talking a lot of depression, and depression has entered into our everyday language, and has, di ba, we use it a lot of times. Depressed lang yan, depression, ganyan ang taong yan. And so it has assumed differing levels of severity. So a person may be saying, maybe yung kaibigan ko malungkot, malungkot siya, ganyan. Ano ibig sabihin nun? No? Are we saying that he is not himself? Pag sabihin natin malungkot siya, na sinasabi natin, oh, he's a bit different, or he's a bit more quiet than usual, or di ba? What? Well, in reality, ang totoo is that, yes, he is sad. But maybe after a game of basketball, or maybe after talking with another friend, di ba, he or she feels better. Di ba? Nagiging okay na siya ulit. Di ba? So, pero then, as we go forward, maybe another friend would feel also the same thing, sad, no? Kaya lang may kasama ng a bit na medyo nahihirapan na siya mag-focus sa pag-aaral niya, o siguro maybe iniimbita mo siya manood ng movie pero ayaw na niya, when before yun ang gusto namang gawin niya, no? Wala siyang appetite, yung mga ganyan. However, medyo nakakapag-function naman siya. Nakakapag-aral naman siya kung kailangan siya mag-aral. Na, di ba, lumalabas naman siya kung kailangan siya lumabas. kumakain siya kung kailangan siya kumain. Di ba? Parang ganun ba? Nakakaya pa rin niya yung kanyang kalungkutan na medyo mas mabigat kaysa sa una. Obviously, at this point here, no, di ba? Medyo ano siya, maybe palapit na siya sa tinatawag natin clinical depression. Now, pero wala pa siya siguro doon, di ba? Kaya ano. Pero the point here is that we want to be able to reach that person already at that point. Even at the lowest, mildest point of this stage here, gusto na natin, we counselors, we want already to be able to reach out to them, start talking with them, start processing, start, di ba, giving our support. Di ba? Yun ang idea doon. And then, kasi, if this is not taken care of, malamang, no, and there's a big probability, that dadating siya sa clinical depression. No, wherein also he experiences all the above, yung pinag-usapan natin, but also she experiences that her functionality is now also compromised. Di ba? Hindi na yun, already he is doing harm intentionally or not intentionally to herself or himself, or sometimes even to others. Diba? So there, obviously, kailangan rin natin ng counseling, psychotherapy, kailangan rin natin ng medication, maybe kailangan ng medication. No? So psychiatrists also will enter into this. Diba? So, pero tayo rin, may role rin tayo dyan as counselors because then yung processing na kailangan natin maibigay sa kanila. Now, obviously from depression, we go to suicide. Diba? Depression, if we're talking about suicide, it has always been linked, diba, to depression. Diba? Malimit nalilink sa depression ang suicide. So, again, now dito, suicide, I want to be able to share with you, explain this dynamics to you by sharing maybe more of an experience, kung ano nangyari, sa isang frontliner, kasi let's give him the name of Mario, Mario's parents, who were both frontliners, also died of the virus of coronavirus. Mario was also a frontliner, but couldn't go home to bury his parents kasi sa trabaho niya, and then also because of the lockdown. And so imagine, di ba, yung sadness na kinikerry niya, and obviously siya, sa trabaho niya, lalaki siya, tinatago niya sa lahat yung kanyang fear, and sige lang, kaya ko to, I will do this, I can manage this, kaya ko to. Umiiyak siya, pero nagtatago siya, hindi niya pinapakita. At a certain point also, I think he was already talking about hurting himself, kasi wala nang problema and all these things. And a friend of his told him, why don't you call up this number, this crisis line, itong crisis line nga ng InTouch. So he called up. He called up, and responded, answer, and tried to give him all yung crisis intervention response, support, and siguro medyo nakalmahan rin siya, ganyan. And the responder then escalated it to our coordinator, in the sense that whenever there is an active suicide ideation or active suicide case, inaano namin yon, ine-escalate namin. And so immediately a counselor was assigned to him. And so the counselor called up for a wellness check. Kamusta ka ba? Ganyan, and all these things. And I think the first communication they had, and this is all tele. This is all telephone communication or text. And so the first telecommunication that they had was about 30 minutes. Obviously, the first one was that one of divine to calm him down, to to build rapport, to win his trust, and so little by little it was successful naman ganyan, and so they continued communicating, and so on and off yan, di ba? Texting, tele, and on and off rin yung kanyang mood, sometimes he'll be okay, at times he will just fall immediately to a very low and wanted to kill himself, wanted to finish, and at a certain point of their work, he turned out to be COVID positive. So again, right? He was already thinking of suicide. He had a gun because that's part of his job. So it was very very high risk situation of suicide. And the counselor, by text, by tele, and the next tele communications that they had was about 5 minutes at the most, 3 minutes, interval, 3 minute long, and so there again, he would say, I'm done, this is, let it be, and everything like that. And the counselor tried to be there, just try to be there, right? And then to cut the story short, then the counselor was able to convince him to go to the hospital and seek treatment, right, for the COVID, but then also for suicide watch, diba? Kasi hindi naman natin kaya, in the sense of that we have to bring them to the emergency room when it's at that level of suicide ideation or thoughts or planning, diba? So after a month, we talked with what they call with Mario, and we asked him, so what happened? What made you change your mind? And you know what he said? He said that I felt that the counselor was concerned about me, right? He felt that he wasn't alone. Because again, that is the experience of a depressed person. I am hopeless, I am helpless, people do not want to help me, I am even a burden to people. So if we're able to, not even through words, but through the presence, through being there, to make them experience that they are not alone, that is the main thing for them. At least for Mario, that was so it was our plan, our thing was that one, right? Listening, caring, diba? Safety, hope, right? Because and that one there, it's not at a certain point. Also, the counselor was also recounting to me that he was feeling that he was using unorthodox attempts. I mean, also he was also telling at a certain point, look, Mario was talking about killing himself, and all these things, and the counselor said, look, I mean, that's your decision. I will respect your decision. I do not want it. I do not like that, but I will respect that. However, right, I'm here. I want to be with you. I want to listen to you and all these things, right? And so at the end, he was able to survive that. Okay, so suicide is that, right? Suicide is more of that experience of being able to to feel that, and yet we see people are there sincerely ready to help us. The last one would be boredom. Boredom, after 2 months of lockdown, we many of us start experiencing boredom. And boredom is defined like this. It's measured by scientists with considering two axes. One would be the meaning right? The ability to find meaning in a task, right? And then the other one is the ability to put attention or focus on a task, right? And obviously, di ba, sa COVID experience natin, meaning has suffered a lot because there's a lot of things that gave meaning to our life. We lost it. It stopped. No, even the coffee shop meetings with our friends. Di ba? Yung pupunta tayo sa coffee shop to talk to ano. Those things gave meaning to our lives. No, even our maybe yung mga short chats that we had in the office, no, yung coffee breaks, mga ganyan, and we exchanged our stories, our those gave meaning to our and lahat yon wala na, di ba? So para bang this COVID experience kind of made it hard to find meaning in what we were doing. No, why are we working here in a corner of my dining room when dining table when I have an office out there and I could be working with my colleagues, I'd be talking with them and everything. Ngayon I'm here in the corner of my dining table. Di ba parang ganun, yung meaning was suffering really. And then the focus. How can I focus when I am so anxious? When I'm so depressed, when I'm so worried about being contaminated, about the safety of my family, about the job that I might not have, about the business that I am losing every day, the more I am in lockdown. How can I focus, di ba? So as a result, no, parang maraming taong nagiging bored, no. And there was in fact a study that they did sa Italy of about 300 or 3,500 people, and they kind of did a survey, and boredom came out as one of the main difficulties that they experience, even higher than loneliness, for example, or lack of freedom. No, boredom was high there, no, na experience nila. Okay? So, ito yung tatlo, no? And I hope that understanding this better, we can also help understand it better, and we can also help better our counselees, our students, they go through this, or also us, di ba? As we go through it, medyo mas matutulungan natin yung sarili natin, di ba? So these are the more common emotional experiences. So now we enter into management. Now, management is this. I am going to, so I showed you, di ba, sabi ko nga sa inyo, is the better understanding of these dynamics, the better we are able to manage it. So that's the first step, right? I think that's an important step, for us personally, but also in working with our clients, with our counselees, right? Now, the management now that I would go into now would be more of presenting to you. I want to present to you self-regulating exercises. Maybe many of you already are familiar with this, but I want to emphasize one thing, that I want to present to you these exercises, self-regulating exercises, not only to use for emergency cases, right? When we are agitated, we kind of use them to calm us down, to find again composure and everything, but to use them regularly, to practice them regularly. So I will encourage you to practice them regularly. This one here, we recommend at least 3 times a day, at least 3 times a day. And if whenever you have a free time, to do it, because the more you do it, the more then you learn the mental skills that these these exercises teaches you, right? It's just like a physical skill. I have to learn a physical skill. If I have to learn dribbling, I have to dribble with my left and my right for hours during the day. I have to do that. And to learn a mental skill, you have to practice it regularly. So these ones here, I encourage you to do that. So what are the skills that we are learning? The skills that we are learning is one, we want to learn how to relax our muscles at will. That's our first defense to anxiety or to stress. When we're able to physiologically at will relax our muscles, we are already fighting the stress that's happening in our mind. Diba? Kasi, diba, because when we're stressed, automatic yan. There's a physiological effect. Our muscles tense. I think you've realized this, right? Sometimes, if you try to check yung body check natin. When you're stressed, saan sumasakit? Sumasakit ba ang likod mo? Sumasakit ba ang likod ng leeg mo? Sumasakit ba yun iyong leg, yun ano mo, di ba? Sumasakit ba yung stomach mo, yun ano, di ba? Different muscles tinatamaan. No. When you're driving a car, not even feeling stressed, but there is a stress that you do not feel in the sense that is happening because you're on guard kasi nagda-drive ka. Check mo, tingnan mo. Sometimes you will discover that, oops, without you realizing, yung left leg mo, which is resting kasi you're driving maybe an automatic car, is tense, is stiff. Di ba? Because unconsciously we're on guard, we're stressed. So there is always so if we're able at will to manage, to control, then okay, mas okay na yan. That's a first step of managing stress. Then these self-regulating exercises teaches us to calm down. And this is also scientific in the sense that the more we do these exercises, the more we also add to the oxygen in our blood, and that goes to our brains, and that keeps us calm. Di ba? And the more we do this, the more we practice it, the more mas mabilis yung effect. Then the third thing is that we are expanding your capacity to focus, to focus on the things that you want, and also to be able to manage the distractions na meron palagi dyan. Di ba? Di ba? Ganyan. Kasi, like for example, when we're anxious, our thoughts go to yung mga bad things, right? So this could be distractions, and we cannot focus. And so instead, we want to focus on the good things, right? So yung capacity to focus on the good things, on the positive things, and not to the loudest things, siguro, di ba? But to the brightest things. Then the fourth one will be, we're changing. When we are challenged, when we're in front of a challenge, we all automatic yan. Studies have shown that maybe about almost more than 90% of our thoughts are negative. Right? In front of a challenge, we say, oops, kaya ko ba to? Oh, ako, magkamali ako. Even from athletes, competitive athletes, we've seen that they've practiced so much, they know what to do. Alam na nila, in practice, they break the records. Di ba? But in competition, in front of a guard, they're saying, kaya ko ba to? Naku, malulusot. Or maybe a foul shot. Last seconds, foul shot, talo tayo kung hindi mo to may pasok. They've done that 100 times, 1,000 times. And kanyang average siguro is mga umaabot ng 70%, 80%. And yet, boom, mawawala. Dalawa. Why? Kasi, di ba, malimit yung mga pumapasok. Ako, ito na. Kailangan kung magawa ko to. And it affects your muscles, your flexibility, and everything like that. Right? So now we will try to change, through these exercises, these negative automatic thoughts. We would want to change it with the positive automatic thought. Little by little, This will not be overnight. It will not happen overnight. Little by little, una mag-overlapping sila, but little by little, gusto natin mangyari is mawala na yung negative automatic thoughts. Prevalent na yun, positive automatic thought. Okay? So those are the 4 things that we will be learning into this. Okay, so let's go into the exercises. The first exercise is diaphragmatic deep breathing. Diaphragmatic deep breathing, di ba? So, maraming approaches yan, maraming methods yan, di ba? Pero ang method na sinusunod ko is this. And you can also use the other methods, right? Pero in general, the idea again is that you don't do it only when you're anxious. You do it regularly. So mas mabilis ang effect after paggagawin mo pagka naka-emergency kung kailangan mo siya. Okay? And so ilalagay natin yung kamay natin sa tiyan at yung isa sa chest. At pag huminga tayo ng intake, pag mag-inhale tayo, lumalabas kailangan yung tiyan natin. Lumalaki yung tiyan. Pag exhale natin, lumiliit yung tiyan. Okay? Ngayon, ihinga kayo ng count ng 1 to 5 and then stop a bit and then exhale 1 to 6. All right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, na-notice nyo, di ba? 1 to 5, 1 to 6. May dagdag ng isa. Okay? Ang importante dyan is that iba-iba yan. Siguro ako ang usually ginagawa ko is 1 to 6, 1 to 7 exhale. No, yun yung kaya ko. I have to be able to reach, you have to be able to see what's your comfortable limit. Yung comfortable limit, hindi yung nahihirapan kayo huminga. Yung hanggang comfortable limit. And then release. Okay? And then inhale and then release. Now, while you're doing this, you do this 10 times. 10 times each time. 10 times. While you're doing this, if you close your eyes, it's better to close your eyes. It helps you to concentrate more. You follow the air that's coming in and going out. Coming in and going out. You follow the air. Now, while you're following the air, okay, you will be distracted. Madidistract ka niyan. Siguro may noise, o siguro maalala mo, may niluluto ako, nakalimutan ko, ano bang gagawin ko dito? Ano bang lulutuin ko for lunch? Kaya, di ba? So when you realize that you are distracted, you simply just go back to the air that's going in and going out. You don't have to fight. You don't have to feel bad. Naku, hindi ko na makaya to. Ang bihira naman to. Hindi ko nagawa. No. You just simply recognize that you were distracted, then you go back and in and out, following the air that's going in and out. You follow the air in and out. Diba? Now, while you're doing this, your brain will continue working. No? And so maybe it will show the air that you're following magiging kulay red and bring out kulay green. Depende yan. No? Depende yan. Your brain is creative and it will start, okay, that's good. But that's not you don't have to create that. It happens, okay, it happens, you recognize it. Your task is to follow the air that's going in and out. In and out. Follow that. All right? Then, siguro sabihin niya, itong air na to, malinis na pumapasok. Yung mga lumalabas is the bad air, ganyan. Okay, that's good. But that's not your task again. Your task is to follow air in and out. At least 3 times. All right. So this one here is what? This is about maybe minutes exercise. So, baka wala pa yata siguro di ba? Right? Habang in between kunyari nagluluto kayo, in between sa pagpiprito ninyo, ganyan, habang nag-ano, you go, sit down, or standing up. Ten times. Right. Relaxation. Progressive muscle relaxation naman is a technique is to be able to relax your muscles. It's the experience of relaxing your muscles, all your muscle groups at the same time. Nakita nyo, di ba? Yung face, yung shoulders, yung neck, yung ganyan, lahat. No? So, ang exercise dito is that you tighten the groups of muscles, you tighten it for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you release it. Right? So, kunyari, forehead, di ba? To tighten our forehead, we kind of try to put your eyebrows natin, itaas natin as if touching the ceiling. Di ba? Yun, feel nyo, tumitigas in atin forehead, di ba? Yun sa taas. And then we release it. Na-feel nyo yung difference? Na-feel nyo yung relax mode? That's what you have to be familiar with. Di ba? So, ulitin mo. Taas mo yung kilay mo. Taas. Kaya, tapos, release. Right? Okay? Now, another thing would be, kunyari yung eyes mo. Close your eyes tight. Tight. Close your eyes tight. Tight. And then release. Di ba? Different. Di ba? Different yun. Tight, tense, to relax. Okay? If you bite hard, yung jaw mo tumitigas. And then release. Right? You feel, di ba, the relaxed jaw. Then yung neck mo. Yung neck parang ipisil mo siya pababa. Parang pinipisil mo siya pababa. And then release. Alright? Di ba? Yung shoulders mo. Yung shoulder blades mo, kunyari, parang ikiniklip mo siya pabalik at parang gusto mo silang mag-meet sa likod mo. Okay? Ayan. And then release. Right? You feel the relax mo. Then, sa gitna naman, gusto mo ipisil sa gitna yung shoulder blades mo. And then release. Okay? Now, tingnan lang natin. Yung mukha mo, galaw mo ganyan, mukha mo, siguraduhin mo lang na-relax, yung neck mo, yung shoulders mo. Okay? Relax ba lahat yun? Okay, good. Pagka then we go ahead. Gawa ka ng muscle sa bicep mo. Gawa kang muscle bicep. And release. Tapos gawin mo sa lower arm mo. Tapos gawa ka ng fist. And then release. Okay? Fist. Difference, right? So, small, go up and then release. Back, pisil upper puan mo. Lower back, pisil mo, and then release. Stomach, tighten, and then release. Alright? Yung buttocks mo, yung foot mo, ipisil mo sa silya. Pisil mo, and then release. Yung hips, tigas mo, and then release. Upper legs, dalawa, itigas mo yung muscle and then release. Yung thigh mo, di ba? Yung calf mo, i-release mo. Yan. Di ba? And then yung heels mo, pisil mo sa ground. Pisil mo sa ground and then release. Yung toes, pisil mo sa ground and then release. Okay? So you do that. You do that isa-isa. Isa-isa yung group muscles mo. That will take about maybe mga 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Kung gagawin mo lahat yan. No? Gawin mo lang yan ng once a day for 1 week. Following faithfully, religiously, yung steps na yun. Tighten, release. Tighten, release. Tighten 5 counts and then release. Tighten. Sundin mo lang yon once a week for 1 week. After that, kakayanin mo na without tightening, ma-relax mo yun. Kaya kasi pagkatapos mong gawin yun, kunyari, ginawa na natin lahat yun, no? Okay? Pagka nagawa na natin lahat yan, no, just close your eyes and then mag-scan ka through your body. Just make a scan. Mag-scan ka lang. Tingnan mo lang from the forehead, your eyes, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your hanggang sa baba. Tingnan mo na everything is relaxed. Everything is relaxed. When you realize that, oops, there's a group that's not relaxed, okay, i-shake mo. I-shake mo. Sabay, para ma-relax. Yung shoulders mo, relax ba lahat yan? Okay? And just stay there. Stay there for about a minute. Siguro a minute of relaxed ka. Na-relax ka. Kaya ang posture mo kailangan is nakaupo ka ng mahusay, comfortable, no? Ang paa mo nasa ground, di ba? Nakasandal ka ng ano. Okay? So then you just experience for maybe about a minute to see. I-scan mo yun, continuously scan your body. Everything is able to tell your mind group all at the same time na relax siya. And be able to recognize ano ba yun? Ano ba yun ibig sabihin? Ano yung feeling ng relax? So after doing this for about a week, once a week, ganyan, after that, you just are able to sit down or even sometimes standing up, no? Standing up erect, ganyan, and just say, okay, relax. Give yourself a few seconds to relax all your body. Buong lahat ng muscle groups. And then, you can use that. No? The more you're able to do that, the more, di ba, yun na, nasa may front line tayo ng laban sa stress. Di ba? Okay? Now, for today, the last exercise I want to teach you would be mental focusing. Okay? Mental focusing naman is that one of changing the negative thoughts, automatic thoughts, to a positive automatic thought. Again, you have to choose a phrase. Or maybe that that encourages you, di ba? That makes you feel calm, di ba? Di ba? Kung ano man ang gusto mo na good positive feeling na gusto mo, di ba? Siguro kunyari workshop, may kailangan kang gawing workshop or presentation, kinakabahan ka. Okay? Ano yung phrase na pwede mong sabihin, ibulong sa sarili mo na magbibigay sa iyo ng right countenance to be able to do your presentation well. Di ba? Parang sa likod mo may coach na nagsasabi bago ko pumasok sa game, sa competition, may coach na nagsasabi sa'yo, okay, relax ka lang, okay? Just going to the flow. Just follow the flow. Let the flow go. Di ba yung mga ganon sinasabi nila? And then, yun na yun, papasok ka na doon. That's in your mind. Right? Yun ang gusto mong gawin. Okay? So, these are some examples. It's a good day. Kaya ko to. Kayang-kaya ko to. Or I am blessed. Di ba? I am blessed. Ganyan, di ba? Iba-iba yan. Maraming mga example na pwede nyong gamitin. Okay? And kayo na mag-ano. Basta maiksi lang na phrase no, na pwede nyong gamitin dyan. Di ba? We will be okay. Everything is okay. Di ba? Just follow the flow. Di ba? Relax ka lang. Iba-ibang phrases. Okay? So, ganito ang mangyayari ngayon dyan. So, you're seated down. Again, no, comfortable. Yung paa mo nasa ground. Kamay mo nasa lap mo. Ganyan. Importante dyan is that huwag kayo nakaslouch. O kung hindi, nakabaksak doon sa table mo. Yung ganyan, di ba? Kasi when you're pressuring parts of your body, hindi siya nakaka-relax. Diba? Kaya kailangan comfortable seat ka, position, no, na lahat pwede mag-relax. Yan ang ano. Tapos sabay din, okay? So at the start, it's better to close your eyes and then you start saying your phrase. Okay? You start saying your phrase not with your mouth but with your mind. You repeat, ang task mo, your main task is to repeat your phrase Repeat it, no? Slowly repeat it with your mind, not with your mouth, with your mind. So, kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Inuulit ko yan sa brain ko, okay? Ng mind ko. Now, the more I say that, kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Again, my brain will continue working. And it may spell out kaya ko to in front of me, neon lights with colors and everything. Okay, that's good. I just see that. Okay, I recognize that. Pero ang task ko is kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Repeat slowly my phrase. Yun ang task ko. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. And then again, I will be distracted. May maalala ko. I might just find myself daydreaming and everything. When I realize that, then I just go back. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. With my mind. Okay? Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Then, it will also have emotional meaning. Magkakaroon ng emotional meaning yan. Kaya ko to. You will feel encouraged. You will feel confident. Siguro. Di ba? Yun ang ibig sabihin para sa iyo eh. Di ba? You will feel that. You will experience that. That's good. You stay with that. Okay lang yun. Experience mo. Pero, ikaw, ang kailangan mong gawin is, kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Repeat it. Right? You accept the meaning. Okay? Pero ang iyo is kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Alright? Tuloy-tuloy lang yan. 3 minutes. Every time you do it, 3 minutes. 3 minutes, tapos 3 times a day. At least 3 times a day. 3 minutes, at least 3 times a day. Usually, pwedeng gawin breakfast, lunch, dinner, mga half an hour before or after. Okay? So 3 minutes, 3 minutes each time, nilalagay mo yun, lagay mo lang yung alarm clock mo, 3 minutes, and then you go. You breathe a bit, 1, 2, ganyan, tapos sabay relax, di ba? Marunong ka na mag-relax eh, no? Marunong ka na mag-relax at will. No, you relax your body and then you start. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. With my mind, ha? Not with my mouth. With my mind. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. The more you do it, okay? The more you do it, this has already been proven a lot of times. This comes from sports psychology. This is mental toughness training. The more you do it, the more automatically papasok yon when you are stressed, when you are challenged. Papasok yan. Yun, una, makikisingit lang yan sa automatic negative thoughts mo. Makikisingit yan. Pero at least meron ka ng positive na pumapasok. But the more you practice it, the more it becomes predominant. At yun, ang aim natin is that one there. So yan yung basic ng mental game ng mga athletes, ng mga performing artists, mga ballet dancers, piano konserto, di ba? Ang galing ng gawa nila, parang dali. Bakit? Kasi their mind are able to allow their body to perform what it has already learned so well. At yung mind niya, hindi dinidisturb. Naku, ayan ako, ito ba yung step na gagawin ko? O ito ba yung note na kailangan kong gawin? Wala na yun. They're already in the flow. Why? Because they are able to allow, their mind allows their body to just simply perform. And yung kanilang emotion, diba? Mga athletes, they're in the automatic zone. Kasi kaya nilang pumasok because yun na nga, nangyayari yun na nga. Yung kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Kaya ko to. Ang dominate ngayon sa kanilang emotion is that emotional meaning of kaya ko to. The confidence, di ba? Wala na yun. Wala na yung practice, wala na yung they just simply do it. Alright? So, ito yung mga exercises na inano ko. At marami pa dyan. Maraming mga exercises, meditation, visualization, self-talk, marami dyan. And you can find this in a lot of resources online. If you look into it. Look at also mental toughness. I-search nyo rin yan. Marami rin yan mga na matuturo kayo Now, I want also to share with you, this is our website of In Touch. No, we have a special corner. We developed a special corner for coping during COVID. And here we present materials, videos, articles, infographics, on about in coping, during COVID, for parents and kids, for adults, for couples, for the workplace, for community responders, for general well-being. All right, so visit this. There's a lot of information here. There's also a part there wherein I interview counselors of different topics about grieving, about adolescent behavior, about understanding the old people, always in COVID situation. About couples relationship, andyan lahat. Tingnan ninyo. That could be very useful, and you could also share this with your client, with your counselees, para makita nila, para matulungan rin sila. And then, this is the crisis line na sinasabi ko sa inyo. Ito yung mga numbers. This is free and anonymous, 24/7 crisis line. This is a hotline. Meron dyan mga responders na sasagot sa inyo, sa mga tatawag. These responders are trained, trained to do crisis intervention. This is crisis intervention. This is not counseling, right? They're not offering counseling. They're offering a one-shot crisis intervention. When pag kailangan ng counseling, then pwedeng ma-forward yan. Pero this one here is for crisis intervention. So please help them. Give this number. They can call this. These responders are trained, especially also ngayon for the frontliners, di ba? We had additional training for them, for frontliners. People are calling up the police, the military, the frontliners, yung frontliners ng mga municipalities are calling this, and a lot. Matagal na to, pero ngayon it's being used also for this, for our specific situation. All right, so thank you very much. I hope na may natutunan tayo, na nakatulong rin tayo ng konti sa ating trabaho, sa ating pagtulong sa ibang tao, di ba? At gusto ko lang na i-wish na okay lahat tayo, that we stay safe, that we are all well with our families, ang mga kaibigan natin. Alam natin na marami dyan na naghihirap rin, na maraming mga tragic situations na hinaharap, we will also talk about that susunod na webinar. Si Father RPsy magsasalita tungkol sa grief and loss, which is very important, di ba? So kasi marami diyan, di ba, na yun na nga, kamukha ni Mario na namatayan na hindi niya makita yung mga parents niya. So we have a lot of tragic situations that we are dealing with. And I hope itong sharing natin na to can help us to be able to help them more, but also to help us go through this period of crisis. So again, thank you very much. I hope to see you again. We will all have other different, every dalawa yata at dalawang webinars, training webinars ang meron kaming i-present sa inyo ng PGCA. Yan ang aming gustong tulong na maibigay sa inyo. Marami pa kayong may expect na sharing from us. Okay, so thank you very much, and maybe we can now open our floor for maybe a few questions before we end. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Doc Julian, for that very wonderful and informative sharing, especially with your topic. Now, let me see some few questions. Okay, but before that, we would like to remind our participants that there there are okay. So there will be a post evaluation. So the link will be provided later on a separate post in the PGCA official Facebook page. Then please, to our dear participants, please bear with us since we are dealing with thousands of participants with your e-certificates. Okay, some of your e-certificates might be emailed later. Okay, so please give us time. Then some webinars or the upcoming webinars are already posted in the PGCA official page. Okay, so siguro let's check the first question. So Doc Julian, the question, what is the best way to support or care for someone we love experiencing this threat and anxiety, and at the same time for the carer not to feel burned out too in this collective anxiety we're experiencing. So how do we prevent ourselves or yourself from experiencing countertransference at this time? So that's the first question, Doc Julian.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe I'll start with the middle of the question, yung self-care, right? It's very important, really, and good you asked that question, yung self-care natin. So, well, one thing would be yung binigay kong exercises. Again, as I said, it is also for us, and if we do that, that is part of our self-care, right? And to be aware, for us to be able to manage the things that we can manage, right? To know ourselves, right? This is very basic for us counselors to know that ano ba kaya natin emotionally, not only technically, not only in terms of preparation, academic or training preparation, professional preparation, but also emotionally, no? Kunyari, meron tayong tutulungan na namatayan, may experience tayo ng may loved one tayo na namatay lang recently. Are we in a position to help, di ba? So to be able to do that, that's part of our self-care, right? So I think that would be one of the main things to help us would be to the second one, the first part of your question was more of yun, ano ba ang tulong na mabibigay natin sa mga tao, no? I think yun, kung kung maibigay natin itong mga exercises na to, and also be able to, again, going back to to their experience, the interpersonal experience also of that one, of being able to make them feel that they're not alone. That na sama-sama tayo dito, di ba? This is a situation where we are in a situation wherein lahat tayo are in the same boat, right? At when I say lahat tayo, it doesn't mean only lahat tayo mga Pinoy. Lahat tayo nasa mundo. No, around the world, we are feeling this experience. We're making this experience. We're fighting this COVID-19, and we're feeling its pressure. No, so that commonality, if we're able to give that, share that point to our counselee, that hey, I am here as your counselor, but I am also with you in experiencing what you are experiencing. We have a common point here. Diba? Maybe hindi ako namatayan, kunyari, diba? Maybe your experience is really tragic. But hey, diba? We have a certain, mas madali natin hanapin yung commonality natin in the suffering of our everyday life. So I think if we're able to connect there, that would be the best help that we could give them. The last part of your question is counter transference. So that's really more me. It's really more us counselors. Counter transference. One, I think, would be, again, back to the first thing I told you, kung alam natin yung limits natin emotionally, so the intrapsychic experience natin, the more we're aware of that, the more we can uh, resist, or we can, what do you call this, not allow counter transference to happen. Diba? That's one thing. Uh, the another thing I think, is to be able to be aware of the process, di ba? I think that one there is more of yung preparedness natin, our professional preparedness to handle the cases that if we're able to handle our cases of anxiety, that's why it's important, di ba? That's why important sa atin rin na maintindihan natin yung dynamics, di ba? Yun nga, yung psychological dynamics ng mga issues na hinahandle natin if we're dealing with a depressed person, a suicidal person, an anxious person. The more we realize, the more we know the dynamics, the more we're able to protect ourselves from doing countertransference or falling into countertransference, right? I think the third thing that I would want to share, and again, this is not so much in terms of ability of but I think it is more of knowing, right? Knowing, accepting also, because sometimes, di ba, counter transference and also transference, sometimes it happens out of our control. It happens, right? I think one thing that we should can help us here is that to also know that if ever we find out na, oops, mukhang nagka-counter transference ako dito, right? When we realize that, and it's something that usually is not good, right? But there is always something that we can use out of it. Diba yung bambang, we can transform, we can dig out, even if it's na, we can dig out something something beneficial from it. No? So that ability, diba? That ability to transform the negative to positive, to get what is maski na konti lang, what is good of that negative, maybe non-productive part of our body. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you for that answer, Doc Julian. But before we proceed, again, reminders to our participants. There is a separate post for the post-test and evaluation link. Again, there is a separate post in the PGCA page for your post-evaluation and evaluation link. Then you can answer the link, or you can type in or input until 1 p.m. only. Another reminder to our participants, kung ano po yung email na binigay niyo sa inyong registration, please do the same on your post-test and evaluation. And please be careful on your names and email addresses. We have received many invalid emails and name corrections. So it would take much time for us, especially if there are name corrections. And please take note that in the Google Forms, we are only asking for middle initials and not middle names. So please take note of that. Where can you find the post-test and evaluation link? Again, you can find it at our Facebook page. Okay. So thank you, Doc Julian, for the next question. So how do you deal with person who are seemingly with strong personality yet an overthinker? And the follow-up question niya po is overthinking a mental state of depression?
Okay, yeah. How do you deal with a strong personality in the sense more specific towards overthinking? So I'm thinking what you're talking about is a person um, who who's very resistant because of his way of doing things. Set na yung mind niya, di ba? And he overthinks. So, strong personality, set mind, resistant. Overthinking is more of an additional to that, meaning uh, anxiety related na yon, di ba? Is ano. And in terms of relationship, if it's a state of depression, I think it's really more of uh, a trigger or something that leads you to depression when you overthink. Usually when you're depressed, yun na nga di ba? Depressed ka na, ayaw mo na, wala na pag-asa. So, you don't even want to think about it. Pero, because of your anxiety that's ongoing dyan, your mind is running, ganyan, di ba? Even outside of your will, right? So I think that's the relationship in terms of answering that last part of, is it a state of depression? I think the relationship is that. Going back to your first two parts of your question, how do we deal with them? Again, we deal with them in terms of from as a resistant client perspective, right? Resistant client perspective, we kind of, diba, we work on the foundation of the rapport that we build on, the assurance. We continue giving them, communicating to them, again, more through actions to than words, that hey, we're here, we're here to help. Second, I think, is boundaries, clear boundaries, right? We're here to help, right? Obviously, we showed this in terms of in a more delicate, empathic way, but also our kind of communication is that one: I'm here to help. You want my help? It's up to you. I can help you if you want me to help you, right? So, I can help him if I accept already at the start that I'm not Superman, that na kaya kong salbahin lahat. I can work throughout. Kailangan alam ko that already from the start, I need you to help you. Di ba? Parang gano'n. And in a way, it's good to be able to communicate that to them. And when they know that, right? One, they say, okay, I own the process. Two, they then start thinking, okay, meron pala akong internal strength or attributes, resilient attributes na pwede kong gamitin, na kailangan kong gamitin. Ako ang makakatulong sa sarili ko. They own the process. Okay, I hope that helps.
Thank you, Doc Julian. Another question po. How can we deal with pasaway and feeling superhero COVID proof persona going around spreading the virus? I think it's more of the resistance, as you have mentioned kanina.
Yeah. No, but we're working also with frontliners of a city in Metro Manila, and we're working with frontliners. We're doing group process with them. And totoo yan. These frontliners are either fire people, firemen. They are yung mga nasa posts, yung mga radio, mga CCTV. Sila yung mga nagre-respond and everything. And they're talking about that. They're talking about mga pasaway na hindi sumusunod, na it's so dangerous, pero matigas na ulo, yung mga ganyan. And then really true, that is, it's a real situation. How do we deal with them? How do we deal with them? Again, di ba? I'm assuming, ako makakatulong ako sa iyo in terms of one-on-one or small group, right? In terms of mass movement or di ba yung ginagawa ng mga frontliners ganyan na ang daming mga pasaway dyan na ano ganyan, it's a bit more, that's not really my field. No, pero I know, the little I know is that, we have to be clear, di ba? Kailangan clear boundaries, clear delineations. Ito lang ang pwedeng gawin, di ba? Yung discipline, di ba? Uh, hindi tayo pwedeng bumigay ng mga so pero one-on-one with a pasaway, one-on-one pasaway, to how do we help them? I think one-on-one or a small group, no? I think it is one important thing there again is to be able uh, to win their trust, right? Kasi ang sinabi mong specific would be yung bang parang di ba may denial sila. Yun yung avoidant no? Yung pinag-uusapan natin, avoidant behavior. It's a defense mechanism of theirs. No, pasaway sila, superhero sila. Hindi ako dyan. So I'm not going to wear my mask. I'll go to grocery. Walang distancing dyan. Yeah. Diba? Pasaway na ganyan. I think it's coming from that. They are many, not all, obviously not all, but many are coming from that. It is a reaction. So if we know that it is a psychological reaction or an emotional reaction of theirs, it's an avoidant behavior, it's a denial. It's coming from their fear, right? So instead of focusing on the behavior that they are doing something bad or dangerous, let's focus on the emotion that they are experiencing, on the fear that they are experiencing, on the doubt that they're experiencing, on the worry that they may have. So let's go a bit deeper into the process. Di ba? Let's not stay in the obvious behaviors that we see. Salbahe siya, masama siya, dangerous siya, and everything. No, let's go into the vulnerable parts of that person, the emotional part. Why is he reacting that way? If we're able to manage that level, that emotional level, I think consequently, mag-change na yung behavior. Because that's the root cause of that behavior. Diba? I hope that helps. Francis?
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Doc Julian. We are very much overwhelmed with the participations, with the participation of our viewers. We have many comments in the comment section, and we'd like to thank you, our dear participants. However, well, we can accommodate only siguro 2 more questions for Doc Julian. But before that, we would like to commend naman siguro yung ating team when it comes sa pagbibigay ng mga certificates and those who are in our secretariat. So before we proceed to the next question, we would like to commend Ma'am MC Garcia, our Assistant Secretary, Sir Dan Talusan, also our Secretary, Miss Juvie Andy Leon, our staff, and Miss Justin Joyce Bual. So thank you very much for our certificates and secretariat team. Now let's go to question number 4, Dr. Julian. So siguro the question is much focused on our educational sector. So may mga follow-up questions eh. So first is, can you please give us tips for teachers and students who will be transitioning to online learning, which is a new method they're anxious to?
Yes. Online, yeah, okay. That's interesting kasi I think next week, also Tuesday, June 9, I will be giving naman another webinar on tele-counseling. So working on online. So I will be able to answer that question more next week. Pero ngayon, for now, students, teachers going into into online learning. I think one thing is Kasi I know where you're talking about really more is yung kaba natin. No? We're entering into a new way and into a new method, and so we're not used to it and everything like that, right? So medyo mataas yung ating anxiety about entering into that. No? Kaya ba natin to? How will I teach? No, and all these things. Yung estudyante ko, matututo ba? Ano, ganyan. But, the thing is that your teaching and the learning capacity of your students stay the same, right? It's the same. You can teach, they can ano. The new thing, the new element here is the technology. Is the technology that you're using, di ba? How can I teach someone or how can I train someone when I'm not seeing them? Right now I'm talking to you, di ba? And I'm not seeing you. No, but 'di ba nakakatulong sa akin kung makita ko kayo, mag-interact ako sa kanya, kung may natutulog diyan, may alam ko na medyo titingnan ko siya para tataasan ko ang boses ko para mag-ano, 'di ba? 'Yun hindi ko nakikita sa online. Alright? Hindi ko na masyadong nakikita 'yun. Ito sa school, sa classroom siguro iba rin 'yun. Sa teaching, iba rin ang makikita niyo, mas makikita niyo pag natutulog yung estudyante niyo. Pero the same thing, it's the technology that's new. So the first advice na nabibigay sa atin is familiarize yourself with the technology. You and your students. No? Kunyari ngayon na lang, di ba? Nakita niyo yung aking I'm looking at you. Well, you're watching me, I'm not looking at you, right? Di ba? Kasi tinitingnan ko yung pictures na nakikita ko. I'm not looking at the camera right now. Ngayon nakatingin ako sa camera. Yun ang nakatingin sa iyo. Pero usually nakatingin ako sa mga tao, sa sarili ko, sa picture ng sarili ko, sa mga taong nanonood. Di ba? So that one there, kailangan mapag-usapan na natin. Di ba? I-clarify natin na, okay, it's not that I'm not looking at you. It's not that I am, di ba? Habang kunyari, nag-ask ka ng question, tumitingin ako sa taas. That doesn't mean that I'm not interested in you. Di ba? Parang ganun. Pag-usapan na natin because that's part of technology, the change of technology. Or kunyari, di ba ngayon, di ba nakita mo, yung aking camera. Yung camera ko ngayon is at eye level ko. A bit higher than eye level. Kung ilalagay ko tong aking camera sa baba and you will be looking at me from like this, di ba? Iba ang dating ko sa iyo. Di ba? Parang tinitingnan ka pababa, nakikita mo yung aking ilong, yung nakikita mo yung leeg ko, ganyan. Instead, pagka nasa taas akong ganyan, di ba? Mas nakikita mo yung sarili ko, yung aking movement, yung mas ano. Di ba? So those are small things connected to the technology that will help us to then also pacify ourselves and be able to teach them. And then, meron rin yan mga technicalities and everything in terms of teaching. Siyempre mag-iiba rin yan. Pero generally, you are a teacher, you are trained to teach, you've taught well, yun ang gagamitin mo. Yun ang gagamitin mo sa pag-deliver mo ng lessons mo sa estudyante mo. Ang mga estudyante mo rin, yun rin ang gagamitin nila. Di ba? Okay? But see you next week. We'll talk about that more.
Yes, that's correct, Doc Julian. May nakikita akong questions that is already there are questions already leading to telecounseling, and I have and you have mentioned we have another webinar that might give the answers to that. Now let's go to the follow-up question. How am I going to deal with my students who are suffering depression when they're inside the classroom or during the student learning process or teaching learning process?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming you're a teacher, okay, that you are not a counselor, or maybe you've been trained to maybe psychological first aid, di ba? Yung ginawa ni Francis recently. So yun. I think that could help you. Psychological first aid. What is that? Diba? Diba? It's really more of being able to connect with your students, right? To listen, to hear, to understand them. Diba? So that's the main thing. You can help them doing that. Now, in terms of and by doing that, you're also working on their, if ever meron sila mga depressive moods that is happening. No, so you make it interesting, you make it involved, you make them feel that you are connected with them, you empathize with them, di ba? And that's yun ang ano natin. In terms of group process, yun ang importante para makatulong tayo if ever meron depressive issues yung mga nakikinig sa atin. Pero another thing is that then siguro yun, kung teacher ka nga at hindi kayong counselor, then gagawin mo yon, i-refer mo yon sa guidance counselor. Di ba? Kung man may makita ka na extra. As I said, di ba? As I said, we don't have to wait for a person who is na-depressed na siya, hindi siya makapasok, na umiiyak na siya palagi. No, we don't have to wait for that. When we see certain signs that point to that, to depression, to anxiety, we can ask the help of our guidance counselors. They're trained for that. Kaya nila yan gawin, matulungan yun ating mga estudyante. Diba? Ngayon, kung counselor ka, obviously, alam mo rin na depression, pagka ganon, may mas mabuti to work with them one-on-one or in small groups. Diba? And specifically, not in terms of kasama ng pagtuturo ng kunyari, science. Tapos tuturo ko at matutulungan ko sila sa indirectly, yes, we can do that. But again, by yung sinabi ko. Pero kung directly gusto natin tulungan sila in the depressive mood, we have to kind of work on them directly. Small groups or one-on-one. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Doc Julian. Now, another question. How do we help someone who refuses to talk at all? I think it's for the starters.
Yeah. To someone who doesn't want to talk. Maraming reasons yan di ba? Resistant or simply confused, di ba? Simply confused or overwhelmed, di ba? Hindi sila makapagsalita, di ba? Hindi sila makapagsalita or doubtful sa iyo. Di ba? Maraming reasons kung bakit ayaw magsalita ang isang kliyente natin, isang counselee natin. And I'm assuming again that the one who asked would be a counselor working one-on-one with a person or with a student. So how can we help them? I think again, I go back to my idea of let's not focus on the behavior that we see. The behavior we see is that he is quiet, that he doesn't want to share, that he's not looking at us, or he's just looking at us and saying nothing. Yun ang nakikita natin. That's the behavior. And that's not very encouraging, right? So let's not focus on that. Let's focus on trying to understand where he's coming from. Let's be interested in that. So, ano yung mga questions na tatanong mo when you're interested about a person? Not because gusto mo siya magsalita. Ano yung mga tatanong mo sa kanya? Diba? I think you can start with that. And tingnan mo, itanong mo yun ang focus mo. Wag mo i-focus na kailangan itong magsalita para matulungan ko to. Hindi. I-focus mo is, saan kaya siya nanggagaling? Bakit kaya siya tahimik na yun? Ano nararamdaman niya? Di ba? Itatanong mo sa kanya, di ba? What's happening? Ano gusto mong gawin ngayon? Di ba? Ano ba matutulong ko sa iyo? Di ba? Di ba yung mga tanong natin na gano'n para malaman natin kung saan siya nanggagaling. And not so much, bakit ka tahimik? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc Julian. Siguro ito, last pahabol talaga. So how to deal po when I easily get angry? I find it difficult to control my anger and get to think many negative things.
Okay, good na good yung questions na yan. Kasi yan ang, gawin mo yung mga exercise na binigay ko sa iyo. Gawin mo yon. But again, I say, gawin mo yon, wag lang pag nagagalit ka o malapit ka na magalit. Kailangan gawin mo yon regularly. Whether you're good, you're okay, or whether you don't feel good. But you do it regularly during the day. During the day. 3 times a day, yun ano na yun, at least 3 times a day, regularly. You do that, as a consequence, you will be able to manage your anger. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Doc Julian, for your time and for your sharing. So to our participants, yes, we really appreciate your participation, your questions. Our apologies that we could not cater all your questions for now. But for those who are asking about telecounseling, Doc Julian will have we'll have another webinar on that next week. So for our participants, please take note that on Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m., Dr. Rick Guanzon will share again the webinar on the science of COVID-19 and the coping behavior. Then there is this one, yung sinasabi ni Doc Julian on June 19, tele and web counseling. Then Father RC will, again, on the 11th, we'll have another webinar facing grief during the pandemic. However, please take note, our dear viewers, that it does not end here. We will have a next batch of webinar series, which we are right now finalizing, and we will post it as soon as we iron out some things. Then we have 1 hour only to answer the post evaluation link. So please take note of that. We have only 1 hour window period. So thank you for watching us. Thank you for being in this webinar. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook, PGCA Official, for more information and announcement for our upcoming webinars. So with that, thank you and good morning.
Thank you.